Hello, it is nice to know you are with us on this special edition of Dateline360. It is the 64th Independence Anniversary celebration of Nigeria's sovereignty, and as usual, it promises to be worth your viewing. I am Omotola Omojola. Remember what Independence Day celebrations were like growing up? Well, that's for those within my age bracket and the older ones. More than a holiday, they were days of learning, knowing and becoming better citizens for a lot of young Nigerians. The adults told tales of joy of the first celebration when the green flag was hoisted as it replaced the Union Jack. Images of happy children waving flags on TV brings back memories and the excitement they recreated, reminding us of the laboring of our nationalists who fought for one indivisible and united Nigeria. The interesting thing is that even in the collective celebration, the experiences were unique to each individual as the stories were told. It has always been a day of reawakening of patriotism, the consciousness of who we are as a proud and promising generation. That is exactly what this episode is all about. So gather round, call your friends and little ones, as it is time for some civic education. From trading in humans and goods came the wars of conquest at the start of the 19th century that saw the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates in 1914, leading to the gathering of nation-states living as one country. In spite of all of these, the history of the naming of Nigeria was born out of love. Yes, love visited the Niger area in Flora Shore and became a part of Nigeria's history, a remarkable one at that. Where and how that happened, along with the struggles that birthed Nigeria's freedom from colonialists, is here presented by Jonathan Omajeli.
From the heights of Mount Patti in Lokoja, Kogi State, a breathtaking view of lush greenery unfolds before British journalist Flora Shaw. As she gazes down at Lokoja from the peak, something else captures her attention. It is the confluence of the Niger and Benue rivers, two majestic water bodies meeting like two souls converging, one feeding into the other. But there was more to this union than the merging of rivers. It symbolized the coming together of kingdoms, ethnicities, blending into one body and flowing with a united force. And from the heights of Mount Patti, the inspiration for a name to encompass this diverse group was born. This land shall be called Nigeria.
Colonial administration started far back as 1861. The annexation of Lagos Colony and the subsequent withdrawal of the Royal Niger Company marked the formal beginning of colonial administration in Nigeria.
But before the name Nigeria emerged, the British had taken control of Lagos and the southern coast. The journey spanned from 1861 to 1963, a transformative era that saw the country evolve from a collection of independent states and kingdoms into a unified independent republic. This period was marked by the expansion of British colonial rule, the emergence of nationalist movements, and a gradual shift towards self-governance. In the 1940s and 1950s, Nigerian nationalists established political movements such as the NCNC, led by Nnamdi Azikiwe, AG, led by Obafemi Awolowo, and NPC, led by Ahmadu Bello, all advocating for independence.
You know, when you talk about people like Margaret Ekpo, people like Olufunmilayo and some Kuti and other, fine, they were women. But there are some other women, market leaders, women leaders, these political party women leaders and all that, as at those periods, that also contributed their voices to the independence movement in Nigeria.
On October 1, 1960, Nigeria achieved independence, with Abubakar Tafawa Balewa serving as Prime Minister. By 1963, Nigeria became a republic, with Nnamdi Azikiwe as its first president, formally severing ties with Britain.
The independence anniversary is one celebration that makes you want to go back in time because of the nostalgic feeling that it brings. I've been speaking with the older generation, and this is what they have to say about the celebration.
We assemble ourselves, they happy.
Independence was very colorful.
Like when there's a football match, the whole Nigerians come together, not minding where we are, our differences in politics, in tribe, in religion.
October 1 represents more than just a date. It symbolizes the triumph of countless detribalized heroes who risked their lives for a strong and prosperous nation. Jonathan Omajali for Dateline360.
Thanks for taking us back in time, Joe. I know we can't take everything in that report, but I advise that you see it as a teaser, something to read about, to learn more. If you do, you will agree that we are more than just a nation. The narratives of post-independent Nigeria explain the management of a rich diversity to attain nationhood and its accompanying challenges and gains. Aya Prezi, in our next report, examines the country's evolution from independence to date as a sovereign nation. Over to you, Aya.
Nigeria is a heterogeneous society made up of people of different customs and tradition. From the savannah north to the freshwater mangrove swamps of the south, through the forested west to the east of the country, are people of different tongues and tribes. Consequently, managing this rich diversity and diverse interests in the spirit of brotherhood has been the challenge of the Nigerian state at post-independence. The inherited federal system in 3 regional governance structures of northern, western and eastern Nigeria with provinces suited the multi-plural character of the Nigerian society, even though the arrangement did not accord political recognition to southern Nigeria, the today's South-South zone. Hence, her people were balkanized into eastern and western Nigeria, respectively. There was no doubt a keen competition among the 3 regional governments as regards harnessing the resources within their territories for the development of their respective regions. Politics, too, at the time was sharply on regional line, so much that the 3 major political parties, AG, NPC and UNDP, lacked national spread as they largely reflected regional interest. This affected the outcome of the first parliamentary elections, wherein no political party was able to have a clear-cut majority seat to form the government at the center. This precipitated the alliance between the NPC and UNDP at the center to form the coalition government that led to the emergence of Sir Tafa Balewa as Prime Minister and Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe as the ceremonial president, while Chief Obafemi Awolowo became the opposition leader. Western Nigeria, which was apparently the opposition at the center, began to have political crises that turned the region into what is referred to as in history as the Wild Wild West. The escalation of tensions in Western Nigeria, among other things, allegedly led to the January 15, 1966 first military coup, which opened a floodgate for military incursions in politics. The Unification Decree of May 24, 1966, by the first military government of General Agui Ironsi, apparently to foster and entrench centripetal loyalty, further deepened suspicions of ethnic domination in parts of the country. General Agui Ironsi's regime was therefore short-lived by a counter-coup on July 29, 1966, that produced General Yakubu Gowon's regime, which dealt a final blow to regionalism, with the creation of 12 states in place of the regions as federating units. This is particularly defining in post-independent Nigeria, as it marked the beginning of state creation and the country's transition from a fiscal federalism to a unitary federalism, where the federating units of the federation are stripped of their power of self-reliance. The East, under the leadership of Chief Odumego Ojukwu, feeling unsafe by the direction of Nigerian society, declared Biafra as their new country, a move disapproved by the Nigerian state, resulting in a 3-year civil war. Although Nigeria survived a civil war, there is no evidence on hand to prove that it has also survived the seething war around a unitary federalism, which has been blamed for the growing ethnic-based agitations and rise of regional agitators, unproductive culture of states overdependence on the federal government, and do-or-die politics, among other socio-political and economic challenges in the country. Nigeria today glows over 25 years of unbroken democracy after several years of stringent struggle against military rule by pro-democracy and human rights activists in the mold of Chief Gani Fahimi, Chief Anthony Naro, Chief Solomon La, Dr. Alex Ikweme, Alhaji Abubakar Rimi, and the hero of June 12, Chief M.K. Abiola of blessed memories, among others, some of whom paid the supreme price to bed the current democracy. As Nigeria celebrates 64 years of independence, the political class and indeed the ruling elite are being urged to be intentional through necessary self-sacrifices to build citizens' confidence in the country and create a sense of belonging among the various ethnic nationalities to achieve the much desired unity in diversity, with it accompanying gains. Aya Prezi for Dateline360.
Apart from our beautiful national cultures, nothing identifies Nigeria globally like the national symbols, and campaigns have been ongoing for Nigerians to pay adequate attention to them and accord them the required honor. This call for respect of national symbols is further energized by President Tinubu's approval of a National Orientation Agency's proposal through the Ministry of Information and National Orientation to strengthen the agency's power to take decisive steps to promote the national symbols and ensure that persons who degrade them are brought to justice. Kenneth Nanim has details about this as he examines how citizens are identifying with these national symbols.
Countries of the world are usually identified with peculiar symbols, colors, objects, or landmarks that are historic to the origin of the emergence of the country as a sovereign entity. The national identities associated with Nigeria as a country and as a people include, but not limited to, the national flag, the coat of arms, the Nigerian constitution, the Naira notes, the national anthem, and the international passport, amongst others. These national symbols didn't just appear from nowhere. They have symbolic significance and historic connotations. Take, for instance, the green and white colors of the Nigerian flag.
The green, white, green, designed by Pa Michael Akinkunmi, was chosen, and the reason why it was chosen is the leaders as at that time could relate to the significance attached to the colors, that Pa Michael Akinkunmi had chosen to use. The emerald green 2.0, the white, and the emerald green 2.0. The green stood for the vast vegetative land mass of Nigeria, as at that time, which we still have today. Then the white stood for the peace that our country aspired for its people. The green, even at that, emerald green, is differentiated by the color codes. So our own color code in this country is 2.0, emerald green.
The lyrics of the first national anthem of Nigeria, popularly referred to as Nigeria We Hail Thee, were written by Lillian Jane Williams, and the music was composed by Frances Bender in 1959, preparatory for self-rule, and was first used upon independence in 1960, until it was replaced by Arise, O Compatriots in 1978. Meanwhile, Nigeria We Hail Thee has also been officially readopted on the 29th May of 2024 by President Bola Tinubu-led administration as the national anthem for the country.
A typical American, wherever he sees or sights the American flag, you see the kind of respect, you see the kind of awe it draws. I mean, that's the kind of thing we should. And it's good that it's coming at a time like this when a lot appear to be losing faith in our nation. So I support the government reintroducing the old national anthem that is relatable to every Nigerian. You know what it means? Though tongue and tribe may differ. In brotherhood we stand. Come on.
This paradigm shift that has become law, however, didn't come without a pushback, as many Nigerians had used various means, including the social media platforms, to oppose the readoption of the old national anthem. Be that as it may, there are many other Nigerians who also believe that the old national anthem is more relatable to the citizens in its spirit and letters.
If you look at the words, of the rendition of this current national anthem that has been brought back, which was our national anthem at independence, you will find that it conveys more passion, more patriotism than the one it has replaced.
When you talk in terms of nation building, one of the things you need to understand very well is that, you see, the respect we accord to some of those things that we refer to as our national symbols, go a long way to show how much of respect we have for the nation that we even have.
How knowledgeable are Nigerians regarding the respect, honor, and dignity accorded to other national symbols, as some of them are being defaced and disregarded?
But sometimes we won't blame some of our Nigerians who don't understand the serious import of these things, because they probably have not been taught about it, they probably have not been educated about it, but because sometimes when you don't understand the essence of a particular thing, for instance, I see them the way they carry the naira. I've been to different countries in my life and I see the way the people handle their money. You see their notes, very neat, currency, very neat, they preserve them and all that. But you see our people here, they squeeze our notes, because they don't understand what it means. There's a need on the part, of the government, by virtue of orientation. And these are things that probably assume that national orientation agency educating and sensitizing the citizen, should take as a major responsibility.
The National Orientation Agency is established by law to enlighten the public on their responsibilities towards imbibing the national core values, which includes respect for the national identities.
As Nigeria marks her 64th independence anniversary, citizens are being urged to reflect on the labors of the heroes past to inspire a future in building a more resilient, reliable, and united nation that every citizen will be proud of. Kenneth Nam reporting for Dateline360.
In pre-colonial Nigeria, people lived in culturally moral societies within strong nation states. However, the annexation of Nigeria as a British colony inspired some alterations, which began a gradual integration of peoples and cultures that can now be boldly called popular culture in Nigeria. From the perspective of the nation's capital, Abdullahi Ajiya tells us about the people of a place now called Federal Capital Territory, and which is now home to diverse Nigerian cultures in the center of unity.
Everybody wants his culture to be known, and everybody knows that the culture, we have culture in FCT.
There is no gainsaying that Nigeria's socio-cultural diversity remains a unique attribute of strength for Africa's most populous black nation, standing thick with more than 50 languages and 250 dialects and ethnic groups across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country.
Culture is life, and there is no alternative to development except we trace backwards our cultural values, our roots.
From the period that predates the creation of the entity called Nigeria to independence and post-independence eras, Nigeria's ethnic nationalities have mutually existed with one another through trade, marriage, and war conquest.
Of course, as Nigeria celebrates its 64th independence anniversary, one issue that readily comes to mind is the issue of social and cultural diversity of the people. The FCT story is one important story when we talk about the melting pot and center of unity, and the Garki chiefdom that has existed for centuries plays an important role in bringing about Nigerians from diverse culture and accepting them as Nigerians.
Have an umbrella that have been able to accommodate other ethnic and tribes and their religion. How do we make it? We have been able to have an ethnic or tribal community leaders, like Yoruba, Igbo, Hausas, Fulanis, Efik, Ibibio, mention them. Most of these ethnic will have their community leaders, whereby we converge and discuss how we'll be able to maintain peace and order.
These nation-states that existed as empires, dynasties and kingdoms have become more united as one people with common ties of cultural and historical backgrounds, irrespective of differences. Nigeria's cultural identity around her diverse cuisines have also gained global acceptance. Another bonding commodity in Nigeria and for Nigerians is the kola nut, eaten and accepted by all.
Even the whole chiefdoms, this is what we have been operating, because we feel that Abuja has come to stay and we must have to try to accommodate other Nigerians.
From time immemorial, historical records show that the indigenous people of the FCT have lived together in unity, even with the coming of Abuja as the federal capital city. The cultural renaissance is being upheld.
Whatever tribe or ethnicity you profess, respondents say Nigeria's unity and diversity has come to stay, and it is one area or aspect that should be promoted for the country to benefit more as we celebrate our 64th independence anniversary. For Dateline360, Abdullahi Ajia.
As we celebrate 64 years of Nigeria's independence, a powerful call for a corruption-free society reverberates through the country with abundant human and natural resources. From Kaduna, Clement Olorutoba reports that residents of the metropolis are eager for a brighter future, but demand transparency and accountability from government. They are united in their plea for policies and programs to reach the intended beneficiaries, ensuring that the fruits of development using our endowment are shared equitably among all citizens.
We must build a nation where all Nigerians, irrespective of their tribe or religion, can live together in peace and harmony, declared Sir Ahmadu Bello. And Herbert Macaulay wisely said, "The future of Nigeria depends on the quality of its leadership." From the dawn of colonialism in 1861, a new chapter began in the story of Nigeria. For decades, our forefathers endured the oppressive weight of foreign rule, but within their hearts, a spark of hope for freedom burned bright. This hope fueled their fight for independence, though the path was not easy. The years that followed brought their own sets of challenges: the Civil War, military interventions, and struggles with corruption and insecurity tested the very fabric of our nation.
But at least as a nation, we are grateful that we still remain a nation. There was a civil war. We don't want that to repeat itself again.
Despite these trials, Nigeria forged a path toward progress. We witnessed the birth of Democratic Republic, a vibrant economy. However, challenges remain. Nigeria, a land of vibrant culture and immense potential, faces numerous issues: insecurity, poverty, among others.
The only thing we could do as a country is for us to refashion our own attitude to governance. Our leaders must first have the country at heart, the interests of the country as a whole, and then be able to transform the country the way it ought to be.
The Nigerian tech scene is buzzing with innovation, fueled by a generation of young entrepreneurs tackling local problems and cut-edge solutions.
We are not there yet, but our leaders' past or effort, so far, so good, is not in vain. The reason why I said this, their hope was the unity of the country. And anything that follows after, you understand me, It's something else. Oh, it's just by the way. But as far as I'm concerned, as per this morning, Nigeria is still one.
It is in these stories of hope, in the unwavering spirit of our youth, that we find the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The present administration has come up with 11 key initiatives, such as the Student Loan Scheme, Consumer Credit Corporation, and Skill Up Artisan Program to improve the lives of Nigerians.
A major bend is that issue of patriotism, that issue of division, that issue of mistrust, which has been crafted into Nigerian body politic right from 1946 when the Written Constitution was actually created.
Nigeria has always been a nation of great potential. Let us remember the lessons of our past, cherish our diversity, and work together to build a future that makes all proud. Yes, we have seen hardship, but we have also seen triumph.
Our ancestors faced many challenges, yet they built a strong and vibrant nation. We too can overcome our current difficulties, and our children will reap the rewards of struggles. Clement Oloruntoba for Dateline360.
Well, that's our package for today. Thanks for being there. I am Omotola Omojola, and on behalf of the production crew, we wish you a happy anniversary as we pray for God's blessings for our fatherland.